In this lecture, we are going to learn how to do basic styling on a website. Currently, we can see we have some elements on our web page, and they have the default styling that HTML has given them. But oftentimes, always, you want to add more styling than just the default HTML styling. And in web development, you do that with a styling language known as CSS, which stands for Cascading Style Sheets. This allows you to apply style onto different elements of your page. You can apply style inside of a style tag or just on a CSS tab if you're using an online code editor. You can also build a separate CSS file and link to it as a reference. Let's get started with adding some styling to our page. First, let's style the body of our site, which means we're styling all of the elements in the page. Let's go to the CSS tab and style the body. The first thing we have to do is specify what element we want to style. So if we want to style the HTML tag that is called body, then we type body. Then we use curly brackets, opening and closing, to specify that this is where we're going to put our styling. Right? And inside of those curly brackets, you put the styles that you want to add. For example, we could change the background color of our body to green. And look at that. Now the background of our website is green. Now, we don't have to use a word like green. We could use red, green, and blue color values or a hex color code like 1CA3D4. Every color can be represented as a hex color code, and you can use a color wheel online to select any color you'd like. Then you can specify that as the background color of your website. So take a look. Our website background has become blue. We can also change the text color of all of our elements by using the color property and setting it to a color like white. So CSS follows this pattern where you first specify the property name, then you use a colon, and then you pass in the property value that you want to set. Then you use a semicolon to end the statement. So this is like a period at the end of a sentence, the semicolon. So far we have set two properties of the body, the background color and the color. So now our website is already looking different. We can also change the font family, which means changing what is the style of our fonts. For example, instead of using Times New Roman, which is the default, we can choose Arial, Helvetica, and Sans Serif. So now our text font family has changed. Typically on web, you want to use a sans serif font, which means it doesn't have any special styling on the edges of the letters. The reason being that sans serif, like Arial, is easier to read on a screen and is typically more common these days on web pages, as well as more expected. Whereas Times New Roman or a serif font is more easy to read on print and is less used these days on the web. Okay, so again, you use the font family, the property, and then you can pass in any of the font families that you want to use, such as Segoe UI. Then you can hit Tab to auto-complete a suggested line. So here we're using the first font family as our preferred font, but then sometimes browsers don't support your preferred font. So what you do is you put backup fonts in order, like Tahoma will be our second backup font. Then we have Geneva, Verdana, and finally just sans serif, any sans serif font. So you have here your fonts in order of preference, and if a browser doesn't support one of the fonts, it'll go to the next one in the line. Okay, so now we have a slightly different font appearing in our web page. Alright, so that is how you can do some basic CSS styling on the body element. Later on, we're going to add a lot more styling to our web page. We can style any element inside of the body, not just the body itself. For example, I could style the paragraph. I could set its font size to be 10 pixels. That is going to make my font size a lot smaller. I can also change it to 100 pixels. And look at that. Now my paragraph has a huge font size. So that's an example of how to style text. Join me coming up in our next lecture. We're going to continue building our website, and along the way, we'll add more styling as well. If you liked this video, then go to training.mammoethinteractive.com. We have tons more content on blockchain, web development, machine learning, and much more. We also have a membership for just $19 a month where you can get access to our 372 course bundle and counting.